A day after PM Modi told Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky that India continues to encourage the peaceful resolution of the Russia-Ukraine conflict through dialogue and diplomacy, New Delhi sent a senior official to Switzerland for a two-day summit on peace in Ukraine that began Saturday. Pavan Kapoor, secretary in the Ministry of External Affairs, who reached Bergenstock in central Switzerland, will be participating in discussions at the conference being hosted by Switzerland President Viola Amherd. The summit began a day after G7 leaders agreed in Italy to engineer a $50 billion loan to help Ukraine in its fight for survival. Interest earns on profits from Russia's frozen central bank assets would be used as collateral, and the money could reach Kyiv before the end of the year. In her statement Saturday at the start of the summit, President Amherd underlined nuclear safety, food security, and the humanitarian dimension as the three topics of discussion. With Zelensky by her side, she said countries that have experienced conflicts such as these themselves can contribute their experiences here. It is important that the conference on peace in Ukraine is taking place. In the wake of the opposition India bloc's constituents, the Congress and the AAP suggesting that the JDU and the TDP, key allies of the ruling BJP-led NDA, must push for their nominee as the new Lok Sabha Speaker. The JDU said Saturday it will support any candidate chosen by the BJP for this critical post. What Congress is doing is diversion. It is uncalled for. It is a convention that the largest party in the ruling coalition takes a call on the Speaker. Whatever decision the BJP takes, we will support it, JDU National General Secretary KC Tyagi told. On its part, the TDP said the candidate to be put for the Speaker's position by the ruling coalition will be an NDA candidate. The NDA partners will sit together and decide who our candidate for the Speaker is going to be. Once a consensus is reached, we will fill that candidate, and all partners, including the TDP, will support the candidate, TDP national spokesperson Pattabhi told. The new NCERT Class 12 Political Science textbook, which is hit the market last week, does not mention the Babri Masjid by name, calling it a three-domed structure, has pruned the Ayodhya section from 4 to 2 pages and deleted telling details from the earlier version. These include the BJP Rath Yatra from Somnath in Gujarat to Ayodhya, the role of Kar Sevaks, communal violence in the wake of the demolition of the Babri Masjid on December 6, 1992, President's rule in BJP ruled states, and the BJP's expression of regret over the happenings at Ayodhya. As reported, on April 5, the NCERT had disclosed some of the changes, including the removal of at least 3 references of the demolition and the primacy given to the Ram Janmabhoomi movement, but the extent of the revisions was unknown until now. The old textbook introduces Babri Masjid as a 16th century mosque built by Mughal Emperor Babur's General Mir Baqi. Now the chapter refers to it as a three-dome structure, was built at the site of Sri Ram's birthplace in 1528. But the structure had visible displays of Hindu symbols and relics in its interior as well as its exterior portions. Over 2 pages, the old textbook described the mobilization on 2 sides. The Delhi Metro will soon extend into the far-flung areas of northwest Delhi, especially near the Haryana border that have little to no access to public transport, as the Rithala-Narela Kundali Metro corridor has received the green light. The Public Investment Board of the Ministry of Finance has approved the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs DDA proposal for the corridor. The Delhi LG's office said Saturday. The corridor, an extension of the existing Red Line, will be a 26-kilometer stretch with 21 stations constructed at a total cost of Rs 6,200 crore. Officials said the Delhi segment of the project, estimated at Rs 5,600 crore, will be significant funding from the Delhi Development Authority, which is contributing Rs 1,000 crore. The central government will cover nearly 40% of this cost. 37% will be financed through bilateral and multilateral loans, and approximately 20% will be from the Delhi government. For the Haryana segment costing Rs 545 crore, 80% will be provided by Government of Haryana, with the remaining 20% funded by the central government. This metro line is expected to be completed within 4 years and will provide better connectivity for the Narela, Bhawana, Alipur areas with the rest of Delhi. It will provide an impetus to growth and development of the Narela Bhawana sub-city and also address the long pending requirements of the Rohini sub-city, said officials. Officials said the Narela sub-city is expected to go through an extensive transformation with projects including an education hub with campuses of 7 Delhi universities and institutions, a multimodal logistic park along UER, 2 corporate offices, IT parks and AIMS and an these. The metro corridor is expected to bolster these development. Currently, the Narela area has the DTU, NIT Delhi, National Institute of Homeopathy, Raja Harishchandra Hospital and Anaj Mandi, Smriti Van and various DDA housing projects. Odisha Chief Minister Mohan Charan Majhi kept key departments such as Home, General Administration, Finance, Water Resources, Information and Public Relations and Planning and Convergence as he allotted portfolios among the Council of Ministers on Sunday. This comes 3 days after a new BJP government took oath in Odisha. Among the 2 Deputy Chief Ministers, Majhi allocated Agriculture, Farmers, Empowerment and Energy to K.V. Singh Deo, while Pravati Parida got Women and Child Development and Tourism. Cabinet Minister Suresh Pujari got the important departments of Revenue and Disaster Management dealing with land-related issues and boundary disputes with neighbouring states. Tribal face Rabi Narayan Naik, a 4-time MLA and with years of legislator experience, will handle the crucial departments of Rural Development and Panchayati Raj. Departments such as School and Mass Education, SC/ST Development and Social Security and Empowerment of Persons with Disabilities went to Nityanand Gond, a 2-time legislator and a tribal face. Similarly, Krishna Chandra Patra, a first-time MLA, got Food Supplies and Consumer Welfare. Senior leader Prithviraj Harichandan, who has also been elected to the Assembly for the first time, got the key portfolios of Law, Public Works and Excise. Majhi allocated the important Parliamentary Affairs Department to Mukesh, who has a PhD degree and was a prominent voice of BJP in the previous Assembly. Mahiling also got portfolios such as Health and Family Welfare and Electronics and Information Technology. The Steel and Mines Department, which contributes significantly to the Odisha Exchequer, went to first-time MLA Vibhuti Bhushan Jena. Except Deputy CM K.V. Singh Deo, none of the ministers has any ministerial experience. Ahead of the release of the 17th installment of PM Kisan by Prime Minister Modi from Varanasi on June 18, his first public function in the Lok Sabha constituency after entering office for a third time, Union Agriculture Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan said Saturday that serving agriculture and farmers is like worshipping God. Chauhan told reporters, "I am happy the first thing that the Prime Minister signed after taking oath was the file of Kisan Samman Nidhi, and his first program is also being held in Baba Vishwanath city Kashi, where the Prime Minister will release Kisan Samman Nidhi in the accounts of farmers with a single click. I am thankful to the Prime Minister that he has given me the responsibility of an important department like agriculture. Agriculture is the most important department to fulfill the resolution of a developed India. Agriculture is the backbone of the Indian economy. Even today, most of the employment opportunities are created through agriculture, and farmers are filling the food reserves of the country. For us, serving agriculture and the farmers is like worshipping God," he said. "That is why after taking charge, I have been in the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development for 4 consecutive days from the morning till night, and I am studying everything thoroughly," he said. On June 18, an amount of rupees 20,000 crore will be transferred to the bank accounts of 9.3 crore farmers by Prime Minister Modi. Governor of UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath and the state's agriculture minister will be present in Modi's program at Kashi, he said. 50 special Krishi Vigyan Kendras have been identified at different places in the country where different union ministers will go and join the program virtually and will interact with the farmers present there, he said. Apart from this program is being planned at all the mandis, block parks and in every Gram Panchayat in many states. About 2 crore farmers will participate in this program, he said. Asked whether chief ministers of opposition ruled states have also been invited to the program, Chauhan said, I have written a letter to all chief ministers and have requested them to join this program. I believe that this is a program of the farmers and there is no question of the ruling or opposition here. I request all the chief ministers to join the program. Amid talks between the RSS and the BJP after the Lok Sabha election results, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath Saturday meet RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat in Gorakhpur, where the latter has been staying since Wednesday. Sources in Gorakhpur confirmed that Adityanath meet Bhagwat twice on Saturday since in afternoon at a school in Kamperganj, and where Bhagwat attended a meeting and an RSS event. The Chief Minister also visited the Saraswati Shishu Mandir at Pakibag locality in the city around 8:30 p.m. to meet the RSS chief, the sources informed. Both closed doors meetings lasted nearly 30 minutes each, they added. A senior BJP leader in Gorakhpur who has associated with the RSS for 3 decades claimed that Bhagwat's trip to Gorakhpur soon after the elections was not a routine visit but was meant to hold discussions with Adityanath over the key reasons behind the debacle in UP, where the BJP was seen to be in strong position. Bhagwat, after reaching Gorakhpur Wednesday, held several rounds of meeting with RSS office bearers in the region and received reports from them on the election, sources said. Not Modi 3.0 but Modi 2.1. The voters blessed with common sense go it right. They rejected the BJP's model of governance of the last 10 years but were willing to give Modi another opportunity if he made a major course correction. The BJP started with 303 seats and a set target of 370 for itself and target of 400 plus for the NDA. It fell woefully short of both targets. Ultimately, the BJP could manage only a miserable 240 for itself and a subpar 292 for NDA. The people's message to the BJP was clear. Form a coalition government with important roles of the constituent parties, abandon divisive policies, acknowledge the reality of the economic situation, heal social divisions, avoid boastful claims and take all Indians on the development path. The voters also concluded that though the principal opposition party, the Congress, has made a determined effort to wrest power, it was perhaps not yet ready. It had to regrow its roots in 9 states that account for 170 seats in the Lok Sabha. Mr. Narendra Modi got a conditional mandate to form the government, but as is his wont, he allowed hubris to cloud his judgment. After the initial shock, Mr. Modi realized that there were no challengers to him in the party and no other party had the numbers to stake a claim. He also concluded correctly that both Mr. Chandrababu Naidu and Mr. Nitish Kumar were transactional leaders and more interested in protecting in their own hard-won turf in Andhra Pradesh and Bihar, respectively, than play a kingmaker in Delhi. As it turned out, Mr. Modi could easily satisfy them with private assurances of funds, schemes and some kind of special status for their states. This week, 35 years ago, the BJP National Executive gathered in Palampur, a hill town in Himachal Pradesh known for the Kangra first flush that grew out a bush brought from Almora in 1849, but more than tea was brewing there, one that would soon have the nation on boil. In its Palampur resolution adopted at the June 9 to 11 meeting in 1989, the BJP, which had turned 9 just 2 months ago and had only 2 MPs in the Lok Sabha, declared that Ayodhya was an article of faith, key to its electoral politics. The sentiments of the people must be respected and Ram Janamsthan handed over to the Hindus if possible through a negotiated settlement or else by legislation. Litigation certainly is no answer, it said, maintaining that a court of law cannot adjudicate whether Babur did actually invade Ayodhya, destroy a temple and build a mosque in its place. This started a chain of events beyond the control of the Rajiv Gandhi government, already battling allegations of corruption and the rebellion of VP Singh and fearful of a Hindu backlash over the decision. The 3 rules of the poll prediction game that have stood me. Oh, okay. But the Faizabad Lok Sabha seat, to which Ayodhya still belongs, chose to go to the other way. It elected Mitra Sen Yadav, a candidate of the CPI who edged out Nirmal Khatri of the Congress. The BJP was not in the fray. Mitra Sen, who had been elected thrice from the assembly seat of Milkipur, had become MP for the first time. In the mid-50s, he was full of stories for reporters on the prowl trying to rediscover Ayodhya for a national audience suddenly interested in the goings-on. He would tell you that Faizabad, the capital of the Nawabs before the shift to Lucknow, and how Awadh was once the granary of the north, feeding lands to around, where culture and art flourished, and where peace meant coexistence, or about the uprising of the Kisans in 1921 in Faizabad and Raebareli, preparing the grounds of the socialists, or about Ram Manohar Lohia's birth in Akbarpur, some 60 km from Faizabad. But Mitra Sen could see the writing on the wall. When we meet next, he spoke to a staring one that could be benefit to contain. The demand for a temple for Ram at the site people called in Janmabhoomi would only increase. He was not wrong. The second pre-wedding celebration of Anand Ambani and Radhika Merchant aboard a luxurious European cruise liner aptly called La Vita This and This concluded recently. Guests were treated to a leisurely 4-day holiday sailing down the scenic route from Italy to south of France. In pictures, the massive ship looks more like a floating castle on water. An ideal venue to recreate an atmosphere of splashy gaiety. Events included a The African National Congress and its largest rival, the white-led pro-business Democratic Alliance, agreed on Friday to work together in South Africa's new government of national unity, a step change after 30 years of ANC rule. Once unthinkable, the accord allowed President Cyril Ramaphosa to win a second term in office. He was re-elected by lawmakers with 283 votes. The deal between two sharply antagonistic parties is the most momentous political shift in South Africa since Nelson Mandela led the ANC to victory in 1994 election that marked the end of apartheid. It will once again be a privilege and pleasure to serve this great nation, as President, the 71-year-old leader, said in speech to Parliament, describing the coming government as an era of hope and inclusivity. That a number of parties that had opposed each other have decided to work together to deliver this result has given a new birth, a new era to our country, he said. The ANC lost its majority for the first time in an election on May 29 and spent 2 weeks in talks with other parties that went down to the wire Friday morning. Today is a historic day for our country, Diaz John said, and I think is the start of a new chapter of us putting our country, its interest and its future first. The National Assembly had earlier elected a DA MP as Deputy Speaker after choosing a ANC MP as Speaker, the first concrete instance of power sharing between the two. Since taking office in 2022, Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni has proved a partner on major international issues. Fears she would be a conservative, unwilling to compromise. But at the G7 summit that she hosted this week, Meloni showed she had some red lines dear to her camp that she was ready to fight for, especially relating to family and production rights. Despite the unity in securing a loan for Ukraine, diplomats said Italy had demanded the removal of specific reference to safe and legal abortion from the G7 statement and also wanted to water down language on vaccination funding. Despite being isolated, Meloni largely got her way on both issues, using Italy's position as rotating president of the Wealthy Nation Club. Meloni is against abortion and always has been, and we pushed early on. But when the presidency said no, that was that, said a European diplomat. Like many far-right groups in the West, Meloni's Brothers of Italy party opposes abortions and promotes traditional family values. She had thrown a bit of red meat to her supporters, said politics professor at Surrey University. She wants to stress that she is not on the same page as some progressive leaders, as this is a part of her identity and it has been diluted since she became PM, he added. Kate, Britain's Princess of Wales, waved to crowds and smiled broadly from the balcony of Buckingham Palace after watching a military parade on Saturday, making her first public appearance this year as she undergoes treatment for cancer. The Princess 42 spent 2 weeks in hospital in January after she underwent major abdominal surgery. 2 months later, she announced in a video message that the test had revealed the presence of a cancer and was receiving preventive chemotherapy. She is still undergoing treatment, but her improved health means she was able to appear in public for the first time since December. The princess rode in a coverage carriage with her 3 children to watch the Trooping the Colour, the annual military parade to mark the official birthday of the monarch King Charles. Despite heavy rain showers, crowd lined in streets and waved and cheered as the carriage went past, outnumbering a small group of protests holding placards calling for an end to the monarchy. Charles rode in a separate carriage with Queen Camilla, followed by Prince William Charles here and Kate's husband, and who was on a horseback, along with other senior members of the royal family. Kate wearing a pale outfit decorated with a white navy ribbon by British fashion designer Jenny Peckham and a broad rim this and this. She pointed out aspects of the event to her children, Prince George, Prince this and this. The King and the Queen, as well as William, Kate and other members of the royal family, later returned at Buckingham Palace to watch a military flypast from the balcony. Kate smiled broadly and waved. In a rare personal written message on Friday, she said she was making good progress but was not out to the woods. She said she was looking forward to attending Saturday's parade and hoped to join a few public engagements over the summer. Hyundai Motor India has filed draft documents with the Securities and Exchange Board of India for an initial public offering, which could become the country's largest public issue when listed. The much anticipated public issue will be purely an offer for sale with the parent company South Korea's Hyundai Motor Company offloading 142 million equity shares to the face value of rupees 10 each. As per the draft papers, Hyundai Motor Company currently holds 813 million equity shares in the Indian entity. The offer for sale would see the company divesting up to 17.5% stake. Up to 50% of the issue is reserved for qualified institutional buyers, 35% for retail investors and the remaining for non-institutional investors. The draft prospectus did not have details of the IPO, pricing or valuation, but as per reports, the company aims to raise $2.5 billion to $3 billion or around rupees 25,000 crore at a valuation of up to $30 billion. The center is in an advanced stage of finalizing the much awaited and crucial data protection rules and will soon release the subordinate legislation for public consultation. A top IT ministry official said the rules are crucial to operationalize the Digital Personal Data Act, which was passed by Parliament last year. Releasing the rules are among our top priorities. We had started working on the rules after December of last year, well before the Lok Sabha elections. Right now, the drafting of the rules is at an advanced stage as we will shortly begin consultation soon. We won't rush through with it, Ashwini Vaishnaw, Union IT Minister, told reporters Saturday. He did not offer a specific timeline for releasing the data protection rules. The Group A game between India and Canada was abandoned without a ball being bowled because of a wet outfield. Umpires inspected the outfield twice. Next up for India is a Super 8 match against Afghanistan in Bridgetown on Thursday. Canada exited the tournament after one win against Ireland, 2 losses and Saturday's no result. Ireland and Pakistan will play at Landrill on Sunday. However, both teams are already out of the tournament. Rain is forecast on Sunday morning too. As on Saturday night, Afghanistan, India and Australia are 3 of the 4 teams in Group 1 of the Super 8. Bangladesh are front-runners for the 4th slot in the group. When Sompal Kami walloped an Enric Norkia delivery in the penultimate over out of the ground on Friday, Gyanendra Mala, a former Nepalese player and coach, beamed at smile. It was not just for the equality of audaciousness of the shot under pressure against South Africa, but for what it symbolized. In April 2016, the ICC had suspended the Nepal Cricket Association, citing the dual existence of the cricket governing body in Nepal and the government interference in the election. Things spiraled out of control in terms of infrastructure, finances, running of domestic cricket, and even something as small as a cricket bat. Without money during the suspension, we could not afford the high-range bats. We had this massive disadvantage. We used to get caught at boundary ropes and in the dressing room. We used to think we did not have enough power, but later we realized the problem was the bat. When Kami hit the 100-meter six against Nortje, it put a smile on my face. Mala tells the Indian Express, despite the hardship, the smiles have never left the faces of the passionate Nepalese fans in all these years. He was once the unverified Virat Kohli of Pakistan cricket. Now Ahmed Shehzad, 32, is an angsty, bitter television expert. He has a stage presence and his tone is theatrical. A film critic would add that he is prone to hemming too. Pakistan's T20 World Cup defeats to USA and India brings out the overactor in him. Referring to a cheat with numbers, he has waving to a go much maligned Captain Babar Azam. In big tournaments, he has an average of 27, strike rate of 11. He is third in the world when it comes to runs scored in defeats. He has 1400 runs, he says, raising his voice. Then is disdain. He chucks in air the piece of paper that is Babar's dire numbers. The show is not over. He stares at the cheat on the ground with fury to end his long rant. Kaun-sa king Babar hai ye? What's the use of a king who does not score runs? The monologue has cast a spell over the studio audiences. They get up and clap. If this was a movie hall, they would have showered coins. He is not the only Pakistan cricket pundit on TV or on social media in danger of having a burst nerve or a blocked artery by the end of the ICC event. Tempers are at an all-time high and voices are being raised regularly.